economic importance. Mm, Importance of bacteria and fungus. This one, right? So we are. Is it okay for you? We will be starting with this chapter today.
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So let's follow this. It's a very easy one to understand. This chapter, bit lengthy. Theoretically, it is quite. It is little bit more explanation is there, but nothing much more technical like experiments and all that is not there. So you don't have to put your head in it. Just read it, understand it, and you will get it in a very easier way. Okay, so let's see what do you mean by this why we are reading this, and you will understand that it holds a very much important place when we are talking about bacteria and fungus. So first we will be concentrating on the bacteria. Okay. So let's see, first understand their structure, their arrangement, their the way they live, and their whole life cycle should be understood for getting the economic importance. So first of all, these bacteria we will be following whenever according to your book or according to your syllabus. Whenever we are studying about the organism, any of the living organism, the you are following the five kingdom classification. Just remember that. Okay, because whatever the characteristics will be given to you for this organism or this one, anything, you are following five kingdom classification for the organism. So that is why whatever you are reading from your textbook for this, it will be having all the points which are coming under this heading. Okay, there may be the possibility if you are following some another type of classification. See, there are lot many more type of classifications are there. Okay, but this one is the standard one which is followed almost everywhere. So we will be also seeing the organism with the respect of this only. Okay, so according to this five kingdom classification, bacteria are classified as the separate organism than the plants. They are not similar to the plants. So first of all, they are prokaryotic, okay, and most of them are single-celled organisms. So first basic characteristics of bacteria is they are prokaryotic, they are single celled, and all these terms we will be elaborating further. Okay. So all these bacteria are definitely for this chapter we should know that because whenever we talk about microorganism, we always think about the diseases, we always think about something bad, but from this chapter we will come across that there are many good bacteria also which are present, and they are helping us out in many ways to make our life very much healthy and easier. Okay, economically it makes easier, and in our body it makes us healthy because many of the bacteria, see, your skin surface right now is filled with bacteria, it is covered with the bacteria. Okay, many bacteria are present over on your skin right now. whether you have a bath with any of the type of brand soap or body wash or anything, hand wash, whatever you are having, the advertisement that which is coming in that, they show that in circle they are showing so many bacterias, and after a wash you will see only the one. uh, this is how you see the advertisement, that they are killing 99.99% of all these so see, the one is still there. Okay, so the thing is, when you are talking about all these hand washes and all that, they are talking about the harmful bacteria. They are talking about the one which is causing a harm, which causes the disease. Okay, they are not killing the good bacteria. So your skin should have that presence of the good bacteria, so that other harmful bacteria should not grow along with it. So that is how a good bacteria gives the competition to the one which are harmful. Okay, so if good bacteria is present, suppose if good bacteria is present, it will not allow the growth of other harmful bacteria along with it. That is a natural tendency of the organisms. Okay, if suppose good bacteria is growing, okay, and it will not allow the harmful bacteria along with it to grow. That means that's why our skin is called the first protective layer present on our body. Okay? But if you get some cuts, if you get some injury, if you get some abnormality on the skin, then there may be the possibility that these harmful bacteria are growing along with the good bacteria and causing a harm to the good bacteria, and that leads to the diseases. Okay, but what we are understanding with this, that we should concentrate on this first of all, that good bacteria only. Okay, so let's see, harmful and good bacteria are there, and you must be you if you read about some of the facts, if you read about some of the uh, that amazing facts about the bacteria, that the number of bacteria present on your skin uh, is more than the human population on the earth, something like that you must be reading. Or the number of bacteria present in your intestine, they will uh, they are so many that they can cross the number of trees, if you count in the region, something like that you can read. So there are so many amazing facts are there for the bacteria. And what makes them so interesting, uh, uh, that is their size. Their size is so small, that means if you have a bacteria and if you measure the length of it, it reaches to the maximum 2 micrometers only, maximum, not more than that. Okay, it can be smaller than this, but not more than this will cross. And the breadth of it, uh, that means width, if you calculate, it is maximum, it reaches to 0.5 micrometer. So you can imagine how small they are, and that is why they are not visible to the naked eye. But the one which is not visible, the one which is not even a whole body structure, it is just a single cell, and it acts with the miracles when you just see them, and when you uh, talk about them. The one you are experiencing right now nowadays, definitely it's a virus. It is much more smaller than the bacteria, the COVID virus. Okay, and see that how powerful it is. So size is not a restriction for them. Size is not the thing which can put the limits on their metabolism. It cannot put the limits on how they work. So bacteria are bigger than the virus, um, and they are also microscopic in nature. So we should write that they are microscopic, not visible to the naked eye. Okay. Now, according to this, because they are microscopic, they are also having some type of special shapes and special arrangements. So we will be classifying these bacteria according to, let's classify them. Classify the bacteria on basis of their shape and even the arrangement. Okay. So we will be classifying these bacteria. See, bacteria is plural. This is a plural. Okay. If you talk about one bacteria, then we should use the word bacterium. It's a singular. So don't get confused. Here S, like English, it is not being followed. Bacterium is a singular for a single organism you are talking about. And bacteria, that means plural. Okay. But sometimes when we speak, we do say bacterias and all that. But this is how the biology follows. Just make sure that you understand this. So let's see how they are being classified with the shape and the arrangement. So first one is called cocci or coccus. Any of the word, some books follows coccus, some books follows cocci. Okay, so cocci is a shape, that means cocci itself means round or spherical. Okay, round shape or spherical shape. Can use any of the word for them. Spherical. Okay, so these cocci, round shaped bacteria, are simple like this. And now see, this is the, when they are round, they are called cocci. But see how they are arranged. That means if it is a one, then a cocci. I'm getting message. Just see. Structure. Okay, fine. If you are having only economic importance, and I got this message that only economic importance is there, shape and structure is not there. Other school, from which school I got this?
It's from Patrick's Schools.
Patrick, you are having only economic, and other school must be having the whole chapter.
No, miss, only economic importance is coming.
Only economic importance is there. Okay, fine. Nothing to worry about. I will finish it off very soon, and we will be following the economic importance after it. So just have an introduction. It's not useless for you. Okay. So let's see that what, where were I? Okay, fine. Coccus, and suppose if they are arranged attached like this, if two are there, then they are called diplococci. Okay, they are called diplo. And if more than two, see, if more than two are there, that means like a chain, then they are called streptococci or staphylococci. Okay, so strepto or of staphylococci. This is how they can be classified based on the arrangement. Then you have another shape like bacillus or bacilli or bacillus. Okay, so that means rod shaped. So rod shaped, that means like this. Similarly, here also, if they are attached like this from tip to tip, then they are called diplobacilli. And if they are having something like this, then they are called streptobacilli or staphylobacilli. You can use those words to them also. Then this is how they are. So I am not going much in detail for this. Okay. And I think you must have heard about the bacteria present in the curd, the one which you eat. You have that this suffix to that word, lactobacilli. If you know that the bacteria present in the curd, that is lactobacilli. So bacilli means rod-shaped bacteria are present in the curd. Okay. Then you have spiral shaped bacteria. Okay, spiral like this, just like a coil. Okay, they are present just like a coil like this. So they are spiral shaped. And then you have a vibrio. And this vibrio means comma shaped. Something like this is present. So they are present in form of commas. These are the common shapes you should know about the bacterium. And see this, that first is about their, this is what their classification. Then you have just see that their basic structure. If we talk about the structure of the bacteria. Okay, so structure of bacteria consists of definitely a cell wall, and this cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Okay, you must be aware that in plants the cell wall is made up of cellulose, while in bacteria it is made up of peptidoglycan. After that, the layer comes is the cell membrane, and the cell membrane is a very much thin, and it is thin leaving membrane, while this is dead. Okay, then you have cytoplasm and the so that means genetic material, that is the DNA. Or this DNA is not covered by the membrane. That's why this particular organism is classified as the prokaryotic one, because karyo means nucleus and pro means primitive. So their DNA is basically is not covered with the layer. The genetic material is naked. It is outside in the cytoplasm, and it is openly available for the cell. So that's why the nucleus is primitive in nature, and that's why they are classified as a prokaryotic organisms. And basically what happens that if this is the cell membrane, the DNA in form of chromosome will be attached somewhere to the cell membrane. Just remember that it should not float freely. It should remain attached somewhere with the cytoplasm. Okay, and rest of the cell organelles you must be aware of. They have vacuoles. They have many of the these what you say granules. Then you have endoplasmic reticulum and something like mitochondria. All of them are big because nucleus is primitive. All of them are somewhat primitive in nature. So that's why the cell is classified as a prokaryotic one. And the thing is, what we say is first is their let's talk about their movement, then how they move. they have the definitely go for the passive movement. That means along with the wind, along with the water, along with the soil, they will move. But some of them are having a flagella. Okay, and flagella is nothing but that cell is having one hair-like structure, and that flagella is act as a fan. That means if this is the cell, the flagella is attached like this, and it will keep on rotating just like a motor you have seen. The it will move and the bacteria can move further with this. Okay, so that is how the flagella moves for their movement. And this bacteria have a type of nutrition, because bacteria are not the plants, so they cannot synthesize their own food. So let's see that they are non photosynthetic. That means they are heterotrophic. That means they depend on others for their food. They depend on the host wherever they are living for their food. And for that you can have the type like saprophytic and parasitic. Saprophytic means depends on the dead, decayed base, or parasitic means they remain present in the host, living host, and through them they obtain their nutrition. If it is not in, we will not go much in detail about them. So that is what they are heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means they depend on others. If I say autotrophic, that means they synthesize their own food, but hetero means they depend on others. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So another thing about them is their very important is their reproduction, and basically it is due to the method that is called fission. That means division, simple division. That means a cell will come out with the two new daughter cells. Two will give you four, four will give you eight, eight will give you 16, then 32. That's how it will be following, okay, in the multiples of two. Okay, so that is how they divide, and they divide very fast. You must be surprised that the bacteria which is present in your stomach, that is intestine, stomach region, it divides in nearly 16 to 20, within 16 to 20 minutes. Okay, so that how fast they are, they divide so in a very fast manner. So when they are dividing, they within 24 hours they reach a huge number, and that is how they maintain their population everywhere. So that is how the reproduction occurs. In some of the bacteria, just remember that in some of them, they follow the sexual reproduction, and it is very primitive, nothing like sexual reproduction actually. But just because they come in contact with each other, physically they come in contact with each other. That means if two bacteria are there, they will come in the physical contact, and what they will do, they will just open one channel for their nuclear, that means nucleic material, and the DNA of this, and the DNA of this is present, they will just go somewhat will transfer here and somewhat will reach in this. So that is how they will interchange, and after interchanging part of it, they will again separate with each other like this. So that is how they are come in physical contact with each other, and this method is called conjugation. So it is named as a sexual reproduction, but nothing like that, no sexual organ is there, no type of special reproductive system is there. Just due to the physical contact, it is named as a sexual reproduction, and the method is called conjugation. Okay, and another if we talk about when because when you are talking about their physiology, definitely their respiration. The respiration can be of any type, aerobic and anaerobic. And anaerobic means without oxygen, without the presence of air, they should have the method process of respiration. And they are so sensitive to the air that if the anaerobic bacteria are exposed to the air, then they will die. So that means that's how sensitive they are. So this is the two methods for respirations as being followed. And one very important feature about bacteria is that spore formation. Spore formation means what happens that if the natural environment surrounding the bacteria, that means wherever it is living, suddenly some changes are coming in that environment, and it is not suitable for the survival of the bacterium, then what will happen that this bacterium inside it, that means inside the cell wall, it will form one layer of spore, and in that everything with cell membrane to everything, cell organelles and nucleus, that means DNA, everything will be getting inside it, and this is how it will live. This particular spore wall, as this is called spore, so it will have form a wall around it, and this wall is so tough, it's very thick, and it is too tough that it can survive, make it can allow the survival of bacteria even for 100 years. This is how they bacteria can live even for 100 of years in this condition. That much strong it is. And this particular wall have tendency to bear, it can bear the high or the low temperature. That means drastic change in the temperature can also be made, bear by it. And then if you have a chemical attack, that means suddenly some type of chemical you are giving the this bacteria, it will survive that also. And if no food is available, then also they can survive. So that is how the spores are resistant, and how strong these structures are. So till here only I will be taking up the structures then, if it is not in the syllabus. Is it okay for you all?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, just if it is not in the syllabus, just do one thing, that go through that particular part once. Don't leave it as it is. Just read it so that you will have the base for the whole chapter. Okay, so let's follow the economic importance for this. Economic importance of bacteria. So first is definitely we will go for the medicine, medical purpose. First is for the medical reason, and we will talk in this. We will talk about the antibiotics. We will talk about the serums. We will talk about the vaccines. Okay, so bacteria are used widely in the medical sector to prepare lot of medicines, to prepare lot of syrups and all that. And basically, if you read about the medical part, then you will understand that uh, uh, because medical have so many sectors. They have modern medicine also, they have the ayurvedas also. So one is ancient, one is modern, so both of them are nowadays concentrating, because modern medicines, what they do, they are obtaining some products from the bacteria, and they prepare a medicine to give to the patients. But in Ayurveda, what is happening, they will try to restore the good bacteria wherever the in the body, wherever the disease is there. So they will try to restore them. They will not give you something which is harmful chemical or something like that. So that is the difference between them. They will try Ayurveda will try to follow the natural thing. That means whatever is present at one place, it should remain there. It should be restored. It should be made every condition should made very much easier for those bacteria to grow. And for modern medicine, what they do, they obtain the things from products from the bacteria, and they just give them to the patients. So that is what the difference between them they are following. And you must have seen, if you have a small kids at your home, if you, because still you are also classified as a kids, still not the adults. Sometimes when you have the your stomach is not stomach is bit upset, and you are having a loose motion or diarrhea, something like that, just to see that what your doctor must be giving you. I think the doctor must be giving you something like prebiotic and probiotics pouches, a small pouches they must be giving you. They are nothing but they are the spores of good bacteria. They are spores of good bacteria which is required for your stomach. So what you eat is nothing but the bacteria spores, and when once they are inside your body, they have the favorable condition, they will start dividing, and then your stomach will be again normal. That is how the diarrhea or dehydration can be controlled. Have you seen this? This is very common practice nowadays.
Miss,
Fine. If not, then yes.
Miss, how do they keep that bacteria in such a condition that it maintains its spore?
Fine. That means how it can be packed in the pouches.
Yes, miss.
Yes. Okay. Fine. There. See, you must have heard about the pharmacy, the field that they are having so many technologies that they can purify the bacteria. They can store it in a particular type of condition. They can arrest the growth of those bacteria. Many of the technologies are there that they can be kept in that condition till it reaches to the patient. That is all the pharmaceutical department they are doing. Understood? So there are a lot of
Okay,
technology.
miss.
Okay, and you must you can see this when these pouches are given to you, the patient who is suffering that dehydration. It is written that have it with the little bit lukewarm water. That means not very much harsh, because high temperature will not good for that sports, and even the cold water is not good. So it is written that lukewarm water and all that is there. But just remember that all these things are very easily under your observation. It come across as sometimes in your daily life, and we just overlook it. Okay, so just I am just giving you the idea how the medical things are going on. But let's see how the antibiotics are being prepared. And first, antibiotic, first understand this word. That means bio. I think you must be aware that we talk about, when we talk about living, then it is bio. And anti, against. Okay, against living creatures. So here what we are doing is antibiotics. You must have heard or you must have seen, whenever the antibiotic is provided by prescribed by the doctor, it is written that streptomycin, cephalomycin, streptomycin. That is how the names are categorized. So these antibiotics are nothing but the chemicals. They are produced by bacteria only, or I will say microorganisms only, not even bacteria. Okay, MOS, if I am writing, it is about microorganisms. Okay, so chemicals produced by one microorganism, these chemicals are used against harmful microorganisms. Do you understand this? What do you mean by antibiotics?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so chemicals which are already which are produced by microorganisms only, and these chemicals are utilized to restrict the growth of the harmful microorganism. Just I will take one example, that when you are suffering from the throat infection, basically when you are having a sore throat or something like that, then you have these cough cells, or another many type of small toffee like medicines. Okay, and as doctor prescribe the antibiotics to you. So these antibiotics, what they do, if you're having a throat, and this throat is having a bacterial infection, and these antibiotics will reach there, and they will cover this whole region, and this is how, when they are covering, these will be killed because of the presence of these antibiotics. These organisms, harmful organisms, will get killed. Or in some type, what is happening, that it will restrict the growth of harmful organisms. That means sometimes antibiotic, either they can do one thing, that they can kill the organism. Okay, they are act as a killer. Or sometimes what they do is they restrict the growth of harmful organisms. So what happens, that when they are restricting, suppose if you don't allow them to divide, then doctor will give you another type of medicine also. In that meantime, the good bacteria will start growing in this place. Once the good bacteria have its own population, suppose if the growth is being restricted, then the good bacteria will start developing, and due to the presence of large number of population of good bacteria, after some time the harmful organisms will get killed, or they will not be able to survive. So that is how the antibiotic works. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so that you must have heard about the penicillin. I think from very uh, it's a very interesting one, or you must have heard about from the very lower classes, that the penicillin was the first antibiotic being discovered by the scientists, and it was used widely to cure the diseases, many of the pox and the measles and all that. And the thing is, sorry, this penicillin, first see that penicillin was not produced by bacteria, it was produced by fungus known as penicillium. Okay, and this penicillium fungus produced the chemical that is called penicillin. And you know, it was an accident with the scientist. Actually, he was not working on antibiotic, he just got lucky with it. So what happened, that what he was studying, this particular individual, the man who discovered it, was, you know, he was having one small plates. On these plates, he had some food material, and on this food material he was studying the growth of bacteria. Actually, what he was doing was he was studying the growth of bacteria on this plate. And suddenly what happened that one day when he left his office and or his lab, then he just forgot to close all these vessels, and they remained opened overnight. And because they were open from somewhere due to air or something, one fungus came and just dropped on this particular plate. And what he saw that after some time, because this was also growing with the bacteria, he saw that uh, that where the fungus was there, where the fungus was growing, around this fungus, no bacteria was seen. All of them were at the edges, or either none of them were present. So whole area was clear. No bacterial growth was there. So that is how he discovered that definitely he concluded that this fungus is definitely producing some type of chemical which is not allowing the growth of these bacteria. So then he discovered that this fungus is penicillium, and it is producing one chemical, he named it as a penicillin, which is not allowing the growth of the bacteria. So that is how the antibiotic was discovered. That means acting against the living organisms. One living organism acting against the other living organism. So that is how the antibiotic was discovered. And later on, then came many of the many of the antibiotic were discovered, and like streptomycin, and it was produced by the bacteria, that is streptomyces. Some species of streptomyces is there. So that is how it was discovered, and this is how the antibiotics act. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so a good antibiotic should be that means if you are having an antibiotic, then it should have this property that it should kill large variety of harmful organism. So that should be the property of antibiotic, that it should kill the large variety of harmful organism. That means the doctor, when the doctor, the one who is giving you the antibiotic, and suppose you are suffering from 2 3 types of different types of bacteria, then only one medicine should be enough to kill all those types. Okay, you should not have different types of medicine for each and every bacteria. So that you should know that it should kill the large variety of harmful organism, and in a very small quantity, the dose, that means the dose which is given to you should be very small. Okay, not a heavy dose should not be given. Then it should not create any side effects. Side effects means, suppose if these chemicals are given for the throat infection, side effect can be that it can change your voice, that there may be the possibility that your throat becomes dry for longer duration, sometimes for the whole life, or there may be the possibility that you suffer from some other type of ailment just because of having these antibiotics. Okay, so it should not have any type of side effects when you are having it. And this is how the antibiotic should work on your body, and it should not kill the good bacteria. It should kill only the harmful organism. The good population of the organism should not be killed by this antibiotic, because that's a chemical. and there may be the possibility that even the good bacteria will not be able to survive with it. So when it is being that is what the pharmaceuticals do. They test the antibiotics, that either it is killing harmful only, or killing both of them, or killing only good bacteria. That is what being testing is done. So that is called antibiotics. Understood this?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. Everybody of you? Others?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Okay, fine. So this is how antibiotics should work. Then you have vaccines, and vaccine is something is hot topic of discussion nowadays, and definitely everybody is waiting for it. For many of the bacterial diseases also vaccines are there. Viral diseases, you must have heard about that polio. Polio is caused by virus, and you have a vaccine uh, to prohibit it, to restrict it. And there are many of the vaccines, like for measles, for smallpox, for chickenpox, for hepatitis, for typhoid, for many of the other diseases. And I think when you were small, you must be having your medical chart. So your mother must be having a medical card with you, for you. In that, it is written that in this month, when the baby is this many month old, this many days old, or this many years old, that is how the vaccine should be given to that particular baby. Have you do you have it, or have you seen it? Your mother must be having it. Just ask her. Okay. And I think you have that one uh, uh, type of mark on your left arm. Is it there? Near the shoulder, you are having one arm. One mark is there, and on your arm. Is it? You can see it. Or if you see your parents or your grandparents, they have a big marks on their arms. Have you seen it? Are you checking your arms right now? Do you have the mark on your arm? Left one. Left. Yes, left one will be there.
Yes, miss.
And you must have seen your grandparents. They are having 2 to 3 marks, and they are very just like a coins. They will look like a coins in the size.
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So you have seen them. Rest of others have seen them or not?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So if you have seen it, that is nothing but the mark of a vaccine which is given to you. Okay, when you are very small. So that mark will remain like that for your lifetime. And see how the vaccine is be prepared, and how the vaccine is being given. So there are so many methods through which the vaccine can be prepared, and vaccine is provided to us. And first one, if I say, see, so here the system, how is it working, that I will make you understand. Then you will understand that how the vaccine is prepared. That you must be aware about the immune system of our body. Okay, so immune system is the one which acts as a defense system of your body. Okay, that means it protects your body from many of the infections, from many of the diseases. So with this immune system, they have soldiers like WBCs, like platelets, and all that. Okay, so all these are will act as a soldier for in your body. Now, what happens that whenever you come across infection, let me say that if you come across one type of infection, suppose one microorganism is entering in your body, something like this is entering in your body, okay, and this particular microorganism, it may be virus, it may be bacteria, it may be fungus, anything can be. Okay, so let's we will concentrate on viruses and bacteria. That if this type of microorganism is entering in your body, then basically what happens with our body, with our immune system, is that once it is inside, then our body, this system will scan it, what is coming inside. uh, do I know this particular organism or not? So what it will do, it will scan, it will do the identification. Okay, once the immune system says no, I don't know it, so definitely what will happen, the body will alert the immune system that something is coming inside and I don't know it. So the immune system will be on alert, and it will give you the red signal. Okay, okay, fine. I don't know this particular organism which is entering inside the body, so just kill it. That is what the simple funda is followed by our body. So because this particular microorganism will be uh, organism for our body. Foreign means our body doesn't know it, doesn't identify it, or it may act as an alien creature for our organism, for our body. So once it is inside the body, then body will start functioning, the immune system will activate, and it will start producing the soldiers. So these WBCs will produce a special type of soldiers, they are called antibodies. Okay, they will produce the special type of soldiers for these organisms, these foreign organism. And if this particular organism is of this type, the antibodies will be having the same type of structure with, like, for them. And what they will do, they will just go to this foreign structure and they will eat them up and destroy them. So once it is destroyed, these antibodies will be happy. Okay, fine, I did my job. Okay, so once it has finished it, it has already attacked it, this will get destroyed. And once it is destroyed like this, something smaller parts, and these parts will be degenerated easily in our body. Now will happen, what these antibodies will do now, they don't have any other work. They are because they were the special forces, they were the special cells which were prepared for this particular type of organisms only. Now what they will do, so what they will do, nothing but they will divide, and on these new cells, whatever they have obtained, they after division, they will have a right M means memory cells. So these cells will always keep in their memory that this type of organism came and it was attacking our body. So whenever in the future this type of organism will enter the body of that individual, these cells will already were there and they will start attacking this particular foreign organism. That is how it works. Have you understood?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, fine. Now remember that like this M or nothing is written on them. I am just telling you that that these memory cells, they are the soldiers and they were already being prepared. So whenever in the future, suppose in future, if this organism comes, so they will already are there already present in our body. So they will see, okay, fine, you are again coming, okay, fine, so let's go there and kill it. So they will kill it. So that's why we say that so when the second time the infection will come inside the body, it will be treated, or it will be recovered very soon, just because the memory cells were already present, and it will not take much of time to divide, for them to divide and to create large army of the soldiers, and they will kill the infection. Have you understood this?
Yes, miss. Yes.
Okay, fine. So this is how our immune system works. Now, why we need vaccine? Let's come for this. For some of the organisms, for some of the infections, there may be the possibility that if one infection is coming inside your body, there may be the, like polio, polio virus, or like this, like smallpox or measles. What is that? What is the reason we need vaccines? Is that uh, those viruses and bacteria which are causing disease are not at all uh, slow, and they are very fast, they are very quick, and they are very smart. What they do, they cheat our immune system sometimes. So they sometimes cheat, and sometimes they are so fast, there this process of identification and formation of the soldiers is comparatively little bit slower than the uh, organism which is causing infection. And because of this reason, these organisms which are causing disease, they will divide very fast, and that causes the moment our body identifies it and recognize it and do something against it, before that only it will kill the person. Okay, so that is why we need vaccines. So in vaccines, what we do is, first, what we do for the vaccines is that, uh, first method is that, uh, in the lab, what you have to do is, you should have a harmful bacteria should be there, and this bacteria, I will write the Fine. Students can hear me or not?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So what you have to do is you have to take this disease causing organism, and in lab what we the scientists do, that they will study them, they will understand that how it is causing the disease, and suppose they identify that this part of this bacteria is causing a particular A type of disease, let me say XYZ. Okay, so X type of disease is being caused by this particular organism. So what they will do, they will just remove that arm from that organism. Okay, once it is being removed, when this is removed, then this particular organism is not causing the disease X. Sorry, here I have written A. So this bacteria or this organism will not be able to cause the. Okay, so this bacteria now cannot cause the disease X, but it is living. This bacteria is living. It is not died. It is not dead. So now they will.
Miss, screen sharing कर screen is not shared, miss.
Is it disconnecting for you also?
No, miss. What else you are going from here? Miss, you are disconnecting. I think so.
Yes, here I am facing that problem that it is disconnecting again and again. So that's what I am asking. Is it happening with you people also?
No,
No,
miss. We are
miss.
in the meeting only. We are in the meeting only.
Okay, fine. I am there. I'm there. Okay, I don't understand this technology, but still, let's see. I will just finish it off this. So this living bacteria
Miss,
is now.
miss, please switch on the camera, miss. You did not switch on the camera. Yes, miss.
Is it okay now?
Yes, miss. That's okay.
Okay, fine. So this living bacteria, which is not having that disease causing point, this will be introduced in our body. That means it is being injected in the human body. Now, once this is inside and it cannot cause the disease, our immune system have enough time to produce the antibodies against it. Okay, so our body can produce the antibodies because this is paralyzed. It cannot give you the disease. So just because it is living, and it will be injected, and our body will produce the antibodies and it will kill this particular organism. Now so this is called vaccine. So what is being injected is nothing but the living bacteria are being injected inside your body, so that your body can produce antibodies. But these living bacteria are first of all treated in the lab, so that the one which is causing the disease should be removed from that organism. And because it is being identified now, our body is being introduced with this type of organism, then what happens that next time whenever this organism will come inside your body with this disease causing factor also, okay, if this is also is there, but still antibodies are being prepared, and our antibodies, that means soldiers, will start killing this organism from all the sides, and it will not leave it, so you will not have the disease for the next time. So that is how, when you are having those polio drops, you are provided with the viruses only, you are given with the viruses inside your body, but those viruses cannot cause you the polio. The factor which can cause polio is being removed, then those viruses are being kept in the form of drops, and that is being given in orally when you were kid. So once that is done, your body is already prepared with the antibodies. Now your body will be ready whenever the polio virus attacks to you. So it has already prepared soldiers, and it will kill those disease causing polio virus. So this is the first method that can be done. I think you must be reading on the in the newspaper or seeing in the television that human trials are going on. Fourth phase of vaccine is there. I think you must be reading this.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so that is what is being done now. What they are checking right now, they have some of the patients or some of the individuals on which they are testing this, some of the animals even, some, because some animals have same physiology like us, so those animals are being introduced by this coronavirus, and they see that if they can produce the antibodies, once the antibodies is being prepared, once this trial is being done on a consistent amount of the population, then they will see that yes, it is successful, then it will be delivered in the market. So that is how the vaccines are being prepared. There may be the possibility, another possibility is that you because some bacteria uh, they have, that if you remove this arm, they can cause the disease with this arm. So there may be the possibility they can cause the disease with this arm. So what they do in that case, they just kill this bacteria. Okay, they here living bacteria is being introduced by removing the arm which is causing the disease. Now suppose there may be the possibility that there are some of the bacteria which can cause disease from any of the arms, any of the arm can cause the disease. So what they will do, they will just simply kill it, and the uh, physical structure is restored. Okay, that means you are being introduced by the dead body of organism. So dead body is introduced inside our body. Now dead organism cannot do anything, it cannot cause disease, but because it is a organism, it will be identified by our immune system, and our immune system will start prepare the antibodies against it. And once antibodies are prepared, then your body is ready for facing it whenever the living bacteria attacks you. Understood? So there may be the possibility of this type also. So either they are one vaccine can be the killed bacteria, and some vaccines are the living bacteria are being introduced in our body. So that is what is being done for the corona also. Understood this?
Yes, miss.
Anything to be asked regarding this?
Miss, why will they introduce the dead bacteria? Because it will not take any actions. Miss, why will?
That's why, because the basic thing that immune system, what it does, it basically works on the structure of the bacteria. So what you need is you have to produce antibodies for n number of disease. What you want, you have to prepare your immune system as such that it should prepare the antibodies against that particular disease. So if you just kill it and just restore its physical body and introduce inside the humans, then immune system has to do only one thing, that it should identify and it should produce the antibody. So no matter if it is killed or a living, and so if you are introducing killed one, then antibodies will be prepared. This will degenerate soon in our body, and whenever the living bacteria will attack, you have already prepared soldiers to fight with them. Is it clear to you?
Yes, miss.
Anybody else? Because this is somewhat very fascinating. Vaccines. One it is not this much simple, but I just make you understand that this is how it works. Anything, if something is going in your mind, do ask me.
No, miss, no doubts.
No doubts. Everybody else also.
No, miss.
Okay, fine. So this is how in medicine bacteria are useful. You can exploit them to certain extent, and they can give you the type of vaccines also, and many of the antibiotics also. Then you have their importance in the industry. How much time is left? You have the school after this?
No, miss, today is no.
No school? Why is it? Oh, fine. It's a Sunday, right? Okay, fine. So then you have the importance of them in the food industry also. Food industry, I think you must be aware of the bakeries and all that. Yeast is being used. Are you aware of this?
Yes, miss.
Fine. So in food industry also, they are very much useful. These bacteria are being used widely for bakery, for fermentation industry, for production of alcohol. Definitely this thing is not good, but this industry is using bacteria widely for the process of fermentation. So alcohol is being produced by this industry, that means for beverages, drinks and beverages and all that. So it is being utilized widely. Just do one thing, uh, till here you just go through your book, even the structure part also just read it once, and we will I see in for fungus also no structures are there.
No, miss, both bacteria and fungus, only economic importance we have to study.
Fine, so next time we will be finishing it off for the bacteria and the fungus both. Okay.
Yes, miss.
Okay, and the just hold for a minute. I got syllabus for fine. Saint Patrick syllabus is there, and I got for AG. What was there? What was the name? AG school. Okay, so let's see, and I will definitely balance your syllabus. Okay. Yes, you can leave now. Have a good day.